Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Tech in Motion. We're trying out a different format now, and we're going to talk about specific tech topics that we think are important to make people aware of. And today we're going to be talking about data sovereignty and this concept of privacy and how companies are kind of monetizing you as a person and your online presence. We hope that you enjoy it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let's get into it. What's up, man?
Nothing much, my brother. How you feeling?
Doing good. Changing up the format a little bit. Trying to
man.
go shorter, more concise topics. So I'm kind of excited about that. And today, I think we said we're going to talk about data sovereignty a little bit.
Yeah. So in regards to doing some research on data sovereignty, because when this came up as a topic, as we were brainstorming, I wasn't quite familiar with the concept. So I wanted to do a little research. I found a definition that I feel like this explains it pretty well. It says data sovereignty is also a reference to a group or individual's right to control and maintain their own data however they see fit, which includes the collection and interpretation of their data. Now, it's important to see those three things specifically in collection, source, and their interpretation, because I find it interesting that a lot of companies, and first thing that comes to mind is Apple, they're monetizing their ability to take hold of this concept. Hey, ask your app not to track. That was a big marketing campaign that they have. Hey, you shouldn't want everybody in your business. You don't need everybody in your business. You get to decide how your apps or how your data is pulled in through your apps and different things. And it's important. I'll read quickly before we start just chatting on our own personal opinions on it, and why it does matter that we understand how our data is being used in this concept of data sovereignty. Your data is already a part of the largest marketplace in human history. The global marketplace market size was valued at about $968 million in 2022. And it is expected to expand at a compound annual growth rate of 25% from 2023 to 2030. A data marketplace platform is a transactional platform that facilitates buying, selling of different data types, offering a unique data experience. So it's interesting to me because it's not a matter of, do we create a marketplace that my data would be a part of? It already exists, but it's now, do I decide to become a part of said marketplace as a result? What are your thoughts when it comes? What type of people should be looking into, or should all people be looking to have a full control of that marketplace or that idea of data sovereignty?
It's important to understand the fundamentals of the power in your data, right? Even when we talk about subjects like the advancement of AI and things like that, it was all built on the backs of our data, the things, the behaviors that these applications track. And I think a large part of the advancements in machine learning and AI came from these recommendation systems that we see across. You know, we joke a lot around your phone is listening to you, right? Or you got Alexas around your house and it's like they're always listening because you were talking about this type of product and then you're on Instagram and oh my goodness, I see that type of product, right? And the thing is that there's some real truth to that, maybe not in the sense people think of, but these recommendation engines and these social media sites do track essentially all of your behaviors, everything from how long you're looking at a post to not just if you liked it or swiped away from it very quickly. They track all of this to build a profile. If you liked something that was based upon a certain product genre, they're going to try and market those types of products towards you. Your data is your online like social security number. It's what identifies you as you. So I think understanding how companies are using that data, ingesting it and all that, there is some importance to that, because if you don't care at all, then you'll give up way too much. And as you just read, this is $1 billion industry.
What the fuck?
So like you got to be aware at least a little bit that your data matters, right? And then, of course, there's the things that everybody knows you should be paying attention to protect at least your most sensitive data.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your passwords to protect information and logins and things like that. But what I'm talking about here isn't as much just your passwords, which are important. Manage them well, get a good password manager. That's all great, right? You need to do that as a bare minimum, I would say.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about just understanding as you navigate the world of social media and online, how much these applications are paying attention to you.
Yeah.
and then monetizing your data. Like if I have a certain product, the ability for a social media site to recommend a product that you will probably buy 1% more than a product that's just random and you're just throwing out randomly, that makes them millions, if not close to billions of dollars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's an important topic, even for people that aren't necessarily tech focused, for sure.
So let me ask you this question. This is something that just came to mind. We talk about social media apps specifically. It's things like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, even like YouTube with its ad algorithms, free to use services. So when we think about the idea of data sovereignty and the potential of monetizing your own data in this marketplace, could it be argued that we are already monetizing our data because we're being handed these apps for free use? Is that not an exchange that we feel like makes sense, or would it be more of a sustainable or understandable model to pay $2 or $3 a month to Instagram or TikTok to have access to the app and what it does, but we don't have any of the recommended or any of the ads that come as a result of it? I think a lot of people do that with like premium services, but they're still taking our data as a result of those premium services.
100%, it's an exchange.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not, I don't hate the exchange as much. The thing that I think is a little bothersome is that not everybody understands the depth of what they're exchanging.
Indeed.
Like the whole adage, nothing comes for free, is very real here. Like you think it's free, but it's not. And I don't think a lot of people, especially you think of like people who are underage, under 18, like not adults, even young adults, you don't understand what's in that entire terms of service when you hit I agree, right? What you're actually agreeing to.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only problem. If you're going to use social media, which we all do, right? Just be aware.
Exactly.
Be aware of it and try to understand that you are going to be monetized.
Yeah.
People are paying attention. And it's very difficult, almost near impossible nowadays to get away from it.
You know, it's interesting too, because in the process of my research, it kind of likened it to a musician. And you know, of course, I fell in love with the illustration, but like an illustration of a musician and its masters. And publishing and masters have been the largest part of discussion in music recently, with people selling their catalogs and different things of that nature. To where if I belong to a record label, I make music, they make money off of how they're able to market said product and information. And the parallel I see between both of them is, I think back to an interview that Lupe Fiasco did, where he said, look, I sold millions of records in my first 2 albums, and I went back to the record label and they wanted to do a deal for my third, and I said, I want my masters. I want my rights to my music. And the owner of the record label said, "What, you want me to pack them up and put in a suitcase for you? Like, what do you want to happen with this?" And he said he thought he was being very disrespectful in the moment, but as he grew as a businessman, he understood, like, no, what am I going to do with these publishing rights? Am I going to the marketing sectors? Am I going to the movie directors? Am I going to the ads that go on Super Bowls and the other places to place my music to get money back from it? Because that's what they're doing with this information. From an idea of monetizing said data, or being aware of how it's monetized, I believe, like you said, the exchange makes sense. I think my screen time reflects that the exchange makes sense, because I had to cut down. I'm getting something from this. And if I just say, all right, well, I reserve the right, which I guess I do, to say who takes my data, I have to be okay with what comes as a result and what I no longer have access to at the same pace. So it's just a thought of understanding the exchange. I think in a future video, we'll get more in depth in regards to that personal data and why it's so important, like you mentioned, to understand what exactly we're giving away. Because specifically, you think about the younger ones that are just accepting and pushing through because they want the newest app, or they want to. I think about that generation above us, the 40, 50, 60 on Facebook playing Farmville. Like, who knows what they're not reading any of that, and then they can't even comprehend what they're taken from that opposite side. So it's important to, I'm not going to tell everybody to read their disclaimers and everything, but just to get a larger view on what typical data that you're handing away through these apps would be very important.
Yeah, awareness, I think, is the goal, right?
Yeah.
And you can be as aware as you want to be. part of the goal of segments like these, I think, is just surfacing what's actually happening and giving people the right to say if they care or not.
Sure.
So, let us know in the comments if this is something you all even care about, if you want to cover more in depth. In general, it's something that I care about enough, but I also understand that there's kind of no such thing as this privacy idea that we have anymore. It doesn't exist in the same way. And the things you have to go through to actually achieve some sort of privacy is not really worth it a lot of the time. And I don't think people would want to go through it. So the next question is, how do we protect ourselves enough to not be taken advantage of in this current space that we're in?
Indeed. I agree.
I had a lot of fun doing this segment, and I think keeping them shorter has been a nicer experience, and it's hopefully a nicer experience for you all. But we really need your feedback to understand how to make this program better. So if you liked it, sure, like it, do all that. But if you can leave a comment and tell us what you really thought, that is even more helpful and helps us build more quality programming for you all. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.